Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our broadcast here at Fast Break here live for Sports Radio. York Knicks Sports. On tonight's show, D-Locke will join me momentarily as we settle in his hotel. We'll discuss Game 4 of the NBA Finals between the Thunder and Spurs. Who got the advantage? Who comes out on top on Game 4? Plus, the Knicks up 3-0 on the Cleveland Cavaliers. One point question. Who do they prefer if they split the Cavs? Who do they prefer to see in the NBA Finals? The Spurs or the Thunder? Plus, Jason Kidd's gone for the Dallas Mavericks. We'll discuss the plans for them with new president Masai in the fold. Plus, scores in the WNBA and more news around the world of basketball here to discuss here tonight. But this is Fast Break here, live for Sports Radio. You're the Follow Sports. We'll catch you out this after these messages.
Hi, eSports Radio fans. This show is brought to you by Planet Jerky Premium Brisket Beef Jerky. Planet Jerky is the official jerky of the 2022 California League champion Lake Elsinore Storm, single-A affiliate of the San Diego Padres. This all-brisket jerky has gluten-free options, contains no MSG, no sodium nitrate, is low in sugar, and high in protein. Go to their website at planetjerky.net and follow them on Instagram at Planet Jerky. Planet Jerky, the jerky that's on a whole other planet.
For the last 10 years, Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at iSports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making iSports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
Welcome. What's going on, man? What's going on?
Man, just got into Lexington, little 6-hour drive, but I made it in time for the show and the game to start. So I'm really happy about that.
Yeah, a pivotal Game 4 tonight for both squads between the Spurs and Thunder. OKC got a chance to go 3-1, then turn around Tuesday to possibly close out the series against one of their arch rivals. But on the Spurs side of things, they got a chance to win this game tied up 2-2 and kind of stretch out this series a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So lots to talk about, lots to get into here. But first, ladies and gentlemen, if you are new here, new to the show, new to iSports Radio, we're exclusively on X and YouTube. All iSports Radio on YouTube and X. On X, you see the iSports Radio logo. Follow that logo. Follow that page, excuse me. Once you see that, we'll go live on X here every Sunday and on YouTube as well. On YouTube, subscribe to that YouTube channel. Hit the little bell notifications. So once we go live every Sunday or a little after 7, you see our faces here, and we'll get up and rolling. Leave your comments in the chat, all that good stuff. Your comments will be talked about on the show. So subscribe to those channels. Hit up the website as well on iSportsRadio.com. D-Locke, we're here. Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals. As they're just now getting done, the pregame introductions and tip-off is about to happen any moment now. Your thoughts going to Game 4, and who do you think comes out on top tonight?
Obviously, I was reading this stat on Victor. He had a rough, very, very rough game the last game. I don't know why. This whole time I thought it was going to go 2-2 and then 1-1 in the series. But now 2-1-1. So now I think he struggled. He's been struggling in OKC big time, but he plays a hell of a lot better at home. I think this series, I think it's going to go to 6. Originally, thought it was going to go to 7. But I think OKC is showing how much better they are. The depth. Now, I think Victor is going to be Victor. But I'd like OKC to get this win. I think they go up 3-1. The Spurs will come back and get, the next game, but they're gonna close this out of 6.
Oh. I'm gonna still stay with. Still have OKC win the title, repeating again, all that good jazz. I still do got that. And it seems like our picks for the NBA Finals is going to come to fruition if things hold up. We'll talk about the Knicks here later on. But I got the Spurs winning tonight, as they up 3-2 right now. And Wallace is driving home. We're trying to drive. He's trying to dunk it on Wembanyama there, but missed the dunk. But got the ball back and slamming it home anyways. And shot clock violation right there. Damn.
Yeah, I thought that was a clear one right there.
But good defense by Victor right there when Chet Holmgren going up. So, anyways, but I got the Spurs winning Game 4 tonight, but I think OKC takes Game 5. Spurs. This series is going to 7. Basically, what I'm getting to.
Mm-hmm.
This is going 7, but the Thunder will come out on top. I think what you sent me yesterday. About the ages and stuff about OKC, all that stuff. Same thing for the Spurs.
Right.
They're almost damn near identical. I think one thing OKC got the edge on the Spurs is the draft capital. The draft capital to add. I'm not saying the Spurs can add quality players, but OKC can add quality players or trade up to get somebody very quality wise under the rookie pay scale. So, you know, OKC can keep this thing rolling for a while. Maybe keep SGA at the top there, and everything's below him is kind of interchangeable between draft picks or trades, whatever. But hey, these two teams, they're gonna be going at it for a while against each other. But I got the Spurs winning game 4. And right now, OKC's up 6-5 right now. Let me ask you this. For San Antonio to win this game, what did they have to do to prevail tonight?
I mean, obviously, the number one thing is Victor has to be Victor. The last game we really didn't do too much, but I think it's not only just Victor. It's gonna take their bench to play a hell of a lot better. I think you're gonna need Kendall Johnson to come in and play a hell of a lot better. Being the 6th man of the year, he's gonna have to come in and play a huge role for this team. That rotation is gonna be fine. I mean, I think obviously OKC missing Mitchell and Jalen Williams, but this is what I mean by this team has a hell of a lot of depth, right? They don't have either of them. They're still finding a way to be competitive, and they have the talent. So to me, it's going to really take De'Aaron Fox to kind of have a pretty decent game, Harper to have a pretty decent game, and that bench, I think Jalen Williams, with a Y, had a game that he's not going to always have, right? I mean, he just went crazy last game. So to me, I think the Spurs are going to have to, their bench players are going to have to play a hell of a lot better. You can't rely on Victor to do literally everything because just that game, not only Victor didn't do too much, but everybody else didn't do that much as well. So for me, it's going to take that bench to wake up, and also for Victor to be his normal self.
I think for the Spurs, I'll say this for them: get Victor inside. Tell Victor, hey, you're gonna have Hartenstein, whoever, Jalen Williams, Chet Holmgren. They're gonna be rough with you all game. They're gonna be holding you, grabbing you, all that stuff like this all game. Gotta fight through that. And then, with guys like Luke Cornett, who really had none crap in this series, guys like that's got to help out Victor down low against those bigs. If you see them grabbing and tugging his jersey and stuff like that, you gotta get those guys off of Victor. You gotta get them off because I know I got OKC win this. They can win this series, but you got to do some of the little things. Now, the OKC going to the bench right now. Caruso coming in, Jeremy McCain coming in, and the other Jalen Williams coming in the game as well. So OKC something early right now in this matchup. But anyways, you got to be tough.
Mm-hmm.
And Mitch Johnson tell those guys if they come in, hey, if they grab him, Victor, whatever, I'm trying to get him off. Set a screen, send him a message. Get Victor loose, get Victor looks down low. You got to tell Stephon Castle, Devin Vassell, stop turning the damn ball over.
Mm-hmm.
I can't believe Vassell has like 20 plus turnovers already in this series. That's unexcusable. That would drive me nuts as a coach. But anyways, for OKC side of things, guys like Jerry McCain, continue to do what you're doing. And your bigs, they got to show up as well. They got to score. They got to do what they did in Game 3 and contribute as well. And you can't get in foul trouble. That's another thing. And like you mentioned about Keldon Johnson, there he goes making a basket right there in the fast break. So Limited guys like Keldon Johnson scoring. If you can do that, don't let guys like Dylan Harper get off as well. I think you can limit those kind of things, slow down Victor well enough. I think OKC can win this game going that way. But it's going to be a good back and forth matchup. But I think one thing that kind of really killed the Spurs last game, God, they got off real hot in Game 3. And then they just kind of just let them come back. And I know basketball's a game of runs and stuff like that, ladies and gentlemen. But dang, they was cooking on all cylinders, making shots, had the crowd eating at the palm of their hands, and then they let OKC come back. And then only that, let them win by double digits as well.
Yeah.
So pacing, I think will be the name of Game 4 today.
Yeah. I mean, I think, like I said, you got a lot of good. Obviously, it is the Western Conference Finals. You got a lot of talent around both teams, and as you can see, we are seeing them make some key subs early. They know what type of game this is going to be, so they're getting some guys trying to get them in rotation and get going early. And you get Kendall Johnson trying to get him early because he is your sixth man. You need to get him warm, get him early. Another person that's actually starting out hot also on the opposite side is Isaiah Hartenstein. He's already got 8 points right now. So, they're trying to get things moving to where for OKC, they're not relying just on SGA, right? And that's probably what was expected, knowing the fact that Mitchell, Jalen Williams is out. Dort, who hasn't been playing I think the last game he had 0 points. You know what I mean? Like 2 rebounds or something like that. So you got to get your other guys in for OKC to get going. Karuk McCain's been playing pretty well. Caruso, do we see Isaiah Joe come off the bench a little bit more now that some of these guys are out? And then, like you said, on OKC's San Antonio side, I mean, you're going to need these other guys like, De'Aaron Fox and Devin Vassell to get going. And Victor, who already had 7 points and a rebound and assist. Before we left today, right? So I'm in our quick story. I'm in our facility and we have our basketball rims. And you can adjust them after the season's over. They kind of put them down, right? So they put a rim at, they were like 7 feet or maybe 6.5 feet or whatever. So I'm dribbling the ball. I've never dunked before. So I grab the ball and I dunk it, right? I jump a little bit and I dunk the ball. And literally the rim is literally like basically close to my hand. So I go to my coworker and say, I just did a goal of mine that I've always wanted to do. I dunked a basketball, I brought him over there, and I showed the rim was at about 6.5 feet. And I said at the end to say, this is what Wemby must feel like, right? Yeah. He's literally like, right, he's on his tippy toes and his hands is like right at the rim. You know what I mean? So you have that caliber type player on your team. He's going to do him, right? Like I said, 7 points, 2 assists, and a rebound. He's going to get his numbers. But now these other guys, they have to contribute. In my opinion, I think, like I said, right now, he's going to be a hell of a player for years to come right now. But OKC, as we've seen the last game, is they boxed and they got real physical with him, and I think that damaged a lot of his production that they could have gotten out of him. So, but like I said, these teams are going to be 2 teams that's going to be good for a long time. Obviously, we said because of obviously age. Now, do they make some big moves to put them over the hump? I still ponder, like you said, somebody got draft capital, but do one of these teams, which is a question, it may be just a far-fetched question, but do one of these teams take a stab at going to get Giannis? Because they have the cap, they have the depth. Do you OKC, right? Chet Holmgren, Isaiah Hartenstein, Jalen Williams. They got the bigs, right? If you're the Spurs, do you come back and say, well, this team is going to be good for a long time. They beat us in a 7-game series. We need to get more depth in the big man role, as you said. Luke Cornett needs to play better, or X, Y, and Z. Do they try to make a move to pair Victor with somebody to make that next step? Because this team has the talent.
Yeah.
do they say, well, hell, the team that's going to be battling us for 4 years is OKC, and they have the depth. We have to do something to pair with them. So that's something that's pondering as they take a 11-point lead. That's something that's pondering in my brain as a question. Like, well, dang, if they can't get past OKC, and we're talking about they control Victor by having Chet on them, Isaiah on them, Jalen Williams tiring him out or whatever, do you go pair him with somebody else like a Giannis to bring some more depth and height and big man on that team? So it's going to be, like I said, this is going to be a hell of a series, but I think this is the beginning of a great rivalry as well.
Let's see. I don't think either one of these teams will go big game hunting. You know, if OKC were happen to lose the series, I think they go big game hunting because they roster's pretty sad, and then you just the main thing you got to get Jalen Williams healthy because he's out again today. So get him healthy. I think you'd be straight. Spurs, on the other hand, excuse me, if they lose this series, I'm not saying major shakeup should happen, but you know, you got to do little tweaks here and there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a good block by
Devin Vassell
there, and coast to coast, and damn, Victor.
See what I mean? Like, I felt like that today. Like, okay, all I gotta do is just get on my toes, and that's what he's doing. Like, it's a cheat code.
Yeah, it's tough to stop that.
It is.
But I mean, but they got Chet Holmgren's like 7'1", 7'2".
Mm-hmm.
Who's that tall? I mean, he's not in the game right now, but you know, you can't expect Jalen Williams at 6'8", 6'9" to contend with that.
Mm-mm.
I think what's the coach's name for OKC? What's his name? Mark
Daganot.
He's got to keep at least, if Victor's in the game, if you know, in his rotation, keep at least one Isaiah Hartenstein or Holmgren in the game.
Mm-hmm.
You can't have both guys at the same time. You can't. I think you got to keep a 7-footer on Victor Wembanyama at all times. You can't just let him get easy access down low. And I think if you're Spurs, you want that all day, every day. And I'm kind of surprised, you know, they have not taken more advantage of that.
Mm-hmm.
So the game's on commercial right now. The Spurs are up once again in the first quarter. You know, can they maintain this lead and win game 4? I think that's big. That's the bigger question right there. Can they maintain this lead and win game 4? That's the main thing right there. But we'll come back to the game here momentarily. But D-Locke, all NBA teams been announced today.
Mm-hmm.
Gonna be a lot of mad folks out there.
I'm one of them.
So let's go by one team by another. The first team consists of Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, the NBA MVP, Nikola Jokic of the Denver Nuggets, Victor Wembanyama of the San Antonio Spurs, Luka Doncic of the LA Lakers, and Cade Cunningham of the Detroit Pistons. D-Locke, as these were now announced today, your thoughts on the first team, and did they get the first team right?
I think they got 4 out of 5 right. I think Luka's injury will have me not have him on the first team. Yeah. I mean, that's a hell of a lot of talent on that team. SGA, obviously MVP, back to back. Jokic, we already understand what Joker's gonna do. Had a few injuries, but he still averaged triple double. Take him all day. Victor, as we can see, obviously, dude had a triple double with held blocks. So I think that speaks a lot for itself. Cade Cunningham had a hell of a season as well. In my opinion, if we'll talk about that second team, I probably would move Jaylen Brown up to that first team. Obviously, Tatum came back, but he just had a hell of a season, in my opinion. His season was he carried Boston, good. I think obviously Peyton Pritchard did play well for a while, but I personally feel like Derek White wasn't that aggressive on the offensive side this year. I think the team was really heavily relying on Jaylen Brown. I think Jaylen Brown deserves to be on that first team. Swap him and Luka in my opinion. But another person that could have been on that team too is Jalen Brunson. He had a hell of a season as well. But to me, they got it damn near right. It's just as great as Luka is, I just think that Jaylen Brown had a better season overall.
I think Luka, as great as solid as the season as he had, I'm not going to say good or great or anything. I think it was just solid because he missed a lot of time.
Yeah.
He missed a lot of time, whether it's injuries or personal issues he's going with. He missed some time. So as I look at the other teams that were announced right now today, you can make an argument for Jaylen Brown. We did our season preview series. I thought the Celtics, without Jason Tatum, I ain't think he'll be back this year, but I thought, they're at least a 4th, 5th seed without Tatum. And then, Jaylen Brown carried more of the heavy lifting with the squad, but, with getting guys like Simons, and you still got Derek Wright in the fold, Peyton Pritchard in the mix as well. I thought, okay, they still a playoff team without Tatum. But he played well all year.
Mm-hmm.
He played well all year. And he should have got the nod in the first team. Jalen Brunson, you can have a conversation about him getting first team nod as well. Had an excellent year for the New York Knicks. Pull up the stats right now. Had an excellent year for the New York Knicks.
Jalen Brunson.
74 games played this year. 26 points after 35 minutes this year. 46% field goal percentage. 37 from 3-point range. 6.8 assists. The steal department, 1 steal per game. Just about can be a little bit better, but he had an excellent year this year. So those 2 guys I will consider making the first team. Everybody else, we'll discuss the other teams and stuff like here in a second, but I think Luka probably could have been dropped down a peg.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thing. He could have been dropped down a peg. And I think if you put one of those 2 guys in, I don't think you hear no arguments there. But, you know, it is what it is. You know, I think LeBron probably would made the team if he didn't miss any games.
Mm-hmm.
I think he would have got in. We can go to the second team, and I was surprised. I mean, get your thoughts on this. I was surprised. Well, I shouldn't say surprised, but I was like, damn, Kawhi Leonard.
Yeah.
I was like, damn. I mean, I know he played great. I mean, pretty solid when he was on the court. But I didn't think, like all NBA second team though. Like your thoughts on that?
That's what I said earlier about not necessarily being, I guess, not being mad, but kind of like, I mean, Kawhi did have a pretty solid season, but I'm thinking that they could have this third team and second team, you could have changed some of those players. Like I thought Jalen Johnson had a hell of a season, in my opinion. I thought Jalen Johnson would be on that second team in replace of Kawhi. Like I said, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Kevin Durant. He had a pretty solid season. Kawhi Leonard, Donovan Mitchell, obviously. But I think Jalen Johnson should have been on this team. Another person that should have been on this team, too, is Tyrese Maxey. So for me, Jaylen Brown, Jalen Brunson, Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Johnson, and Donovan Mitchell, I think that is the second team, in my opinion. But, obviously it's tough with the players we're talking about, because I mean, all these they're great players. They're playing well. It's just about what tier that they would have been at. But again, Tyrese Maxey, let's not forget, Embiid didn't play a lot of the season.
Yep.
So with him being out, this team really relied on Tyrese Maxey a lot in the edge cone. And then don't forget, we didn't see Paul George that much either. So this team led through a lot through Tyrese Maxey. So, but like you said, the big surprise was Kawhi Leonard being there. It's kind of like he was kind of in and out of the lineup a lot as well. You know what I mean? And that's my thing with obviously Luka being the first team and him being on the second. We know what they can bring to the table, and the production that they bring is just, I feel like we didn't see it consistency. It was like a flash, in my opinion. You would see him and then he'd be gone for a couple games. Then you would see him and he'd be gone for a couple games. So Kevin Durant was very consistent also. I just feel like now, I'm not saying that his production is consistent, but he was never a big rebounder or assist guy like that. So, but this second team, like I said, does have some talent on there. But there are some people, like I said, Tyrese Maxey and Jalen Johnson, I think, should have got a little bit more recognition.
I mean, Kawhi met the minimum of 65 games. 28 points he averaged, 6 rebounds, 3.6 assists, 2 steals per game. So, I mean, it's just like he met the minimum. It's like, and I know when he came back fully integrated for the most part, they were kicking ass for most of it. They played well. And one point early in the season, we thought, damn, the way they were playing and below 500, and with that draft pick going to the Thunder, I was like, oh, because last week we discussed the draft lottery.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, y'all playing like this, damn, y'all can give OKC like a golden ticket for a top 5 pick. But Kawhi came back and kind of showed why he's that dude when he's on the court. And, granted, the Clippers didn't make the playoffs, but damn, good block by Chet Holmgren there.
Oh.
But, credit to them. Credit to him. He got by the tree scandal. Well, we haven't heard punishment yet, but Trees kind of, went away a little bit. He played well, so we really can't, take too much away from it. Donovan Mitchell, just consistent all the way through. We'll talk about more about them in their future here in a second. Kevin Durant, consistent all year. Just kind of sucked at the end against the Lakers that, his legs gave out on him. So that sucks as well. And then while the game's on a commercial break, we'll discuss the third team. Tyrese Maxey of the Philadelphia 76ers, Jamal Murray of the Denver Nuggets, Jalen Johnson of the Atlanta Hawks, Jalen Duren of the Detroit Pistons, more on him in about a second, and Chet Holmgren of the OKC Thunder. Any surprises here for you, or did they get this right here, the voters did?
I think my only surprise, obviously, I think some of them could have been on the second team, but my only surprise here is Chet Holmgren. I kind of was shocked the fact that he was on his third team. If I had to really look, I'll have to double check everything. But I think Karl Anthony Towns had a hell of a season.
Yeah.
So could he been there? Not comparing numbers between him and Chet would be something I have to look into. So I think Cat could have been there. I think the only surprise for me was Chet Holmgren. I mean, Jalen Duren had a hell of a season, although his playoffs didn't match. But I like this team. I mean, obviously Jamal Murray has been real consistent. Looking at these teams, man, I think all these all teams, all NBA teams, these NBA teams have a hell of a lot of talent, right? Jokic and Jamal Murray, first and third team, right? That's a very good pair. SGA, Chet Holmgren, Cade Cunningham, Jalen Duren. So now some of these teams got to make that next step to get to that NBA Finals and get that championship. What do they have to do to do that? Tyrese Maxey is a lone Sixer on here, and Jalen Johnson. Now the Hawks have a pretty solid team as well. What do they do with the young group that they do have? So to me, again, the only surprise to me was Chet Holmgren. I'm thinking that maybe they could have put Karl Anthony Towns there, but still, all in all, a good team. But as much as I'm saying is, Chet Holmgren just got to block, board, and come back. Then he gets a putback, right before this quarter ends. So maybe this list came out and he's seen himself. But all in all, like I said, not a bad team. Just a few shockers from first, second, to third.
Looking at this group, I think if you see the names, it's like, guys that I think carried a team for the most part for the year, if that makes sense. Like if these guys weren't on their squad, maybe besides Jamal Murray, that their team won't be where they at today. If Maxey was gone for majority of the year, I don't think the Sixers will make the playoffs. Because George missed time with the suspension, or Embiid missed time, right? There you trade, now if that happened, just play that scenario. Jerry McCain will be looking at Jerry McCain missing a 3-pointer right there in an OKC uniform. He'd probably be still around Philly. But, if Maxey was on the Sixers, then the Sixers, there'd be like, a lottery team, if we're being real. And they probably wouldn't be making the second round of the playoffs. Jalen Johnson of the Hawks. If the Hawks didn't have him, they're like a fringe bubble team. Lottery, if they didn't have him. Jalen Duren, though. He was very good all year.
Yeah.
The playoff run. Like, he still made it. And now I just saw someone on X that he's eligible for a Supermax with the Pistons, which I think he will get with the Pistons. I don't think they're going to let him walk. Man, I think that'd be crazy to do that. I mean, the team's still young. I think, and he's still young too.
Yeah.
That's the thing. I think, this guy's been around the NBA for a little while. But you got to remember, he's still young.
Mm-hmm.
Talking about Jalen Duren. He's still young.
Only 22.
So he still got like a long stretch for him in terms of basketball. And then homegrown. I'm sorry. I'm looking at it right now. Carl Town should have made it. I'm sorry.
That's what I was saying.
I mean, he played 75 games. He averaged a double-double. And I know at times, the stats of OKC, some of y'all probably say, at times with OKC, they pull these guys out if they're up real big. But I just felt like with Towns, though, that offensive production of the Knicks, Towns should have been there, my humble opinion.
Yeah.
I felt like his name been out there more. It just kind of like more visible. I'm not saying Chet Holmgren did not have a bad season, but I just thinking if you're comparing the two,
mm-hmm.
and for example, if these two teams meet in the finals, I think Cat will try to punish Holmgren down low. Like, I was like, I don't see no other big I could put there, to be honest with you.
Nope.
Besides Cat, you can make an argument, maybe Julius Randle or Rudy Gobert, maybe, but you're not really doing that. Your guy, let's see, pulled up. Paolo.
That's another one.
He did a lot of heavy lifting this year for the Magic. I kind of wondered, did he get punished? Because the expectations for the Magic were here, but they kind of just were there. My humble opinion. Your thoughts on that?
I think those expectations those expectations that was supposed to be hit. Again, like I said, that third team, there are people that could have be put there, but then you are battling with Jalen Johnson, who had a hell of a season, right? But I guess the expectation of Atlanta wasn't as high as Orlando Magic. So for me, there's a few people that you could put there. You could have just had Duren as your big, and you could have put Banchero there, or Karl Anthony Towns. Those are the two that, like I said, I'm looking at like, damn, like you could have put them there. But as much as, like I said, we say that, now Chet Holmgren is trying to play out of his mind right now. He's trying to have a good game. But to me, Banchero, Karl Anthony Towns, am I missing somebody?
Let me ask you this. Do you think Scotty Barnes got gypped from an All-NBA selection? Because I seen his name kind of floating around.
I think if he would have been, what did he average? Did he average maybe 17 a game? If he would have been in the range of 20 a game, then I think he probably would have had to put him there. But I think that's probably, is that 18? Yeah, 18 a game.
8 games this year.
Yeah. So he could have been in that rim as well. I think he led Toronto. He actually played pretty well with them, got them far, because I don't think we had the high expectations for them either.
Nah, it's like
Yeah.
the coach. I like the coach. He got some spunk to him, but Brandon Ingram is a wild card. How he's going to play and stay on the court. And the other guys, the young guys that they have drafted and whatnot for the past couple of years, really kind of fell short of expectations. Looking at you, Grady Dick. But anyways, I think there's expectations, but then they just next thing you just look up in December, like, damn, they in the middle of the East.
Mm-hmm.
Like, damn, okay. And then we saw how it went in the first round for them, but but as a team, like, you didn't know which way they're gonna go with it, and I don't know how voters felt about that, in my humble opinion. But I don't know. Well, I don't think nobody else I can really think of. Maybe Mobley of Cleveland, but
yeah,
that'd be a hard sell. Really can't. Devin Booker name you could throw out there.
What about LeBron?
I think if he met the game minimum, he'll be in at least a third team.
Yeah.
Over who? I mean, Holmgren would probably be the more popular choice to take out. But good defense by the Spurs right there. But
very good defense.
But I don't know. That's LeBron. Yeah, Holmgren is like the easy one to take out because he had to reward Duran for his play all year.
Yeah, I mean, I think, from my opinion, he has been he's played well, but there's other players that we could have put in that range, like you said, Ben Carroll. I just don't see how Karl-Anthony Towns, and I mean, like I said, you have to put up his stats. I'm gonna look at him again. I just don't see how he does not make it. Yeah, I mean, 20. He averaged 20 and 11, 3 assists. Yeah, this dude, he has to be. There has to be something better. But I mean, that could have been somewhere where they could have replaced. But and again, the teams are not bad. Again, these are great teams. These are very good players. It's just hard to put basically your best 15 players together. And at what tier do you put them?
It's really hard to say. And I haven't seen who the voters were and whatnot. So, we'll see about that. I'll look at later on. But any final thoughts on the All NBA team?
No, I mean, like I said, I think it's my only thing is there's this team is hard to make all three, but there is obviously, I think Tyrese Maxey could have been somebody on an all first team. Jaylen Brown could have been on the all first team. Jalen Johnson could have been all second team. So I think they got the players right. It's just about where they could have put them.
Real quick before we take commercial break, your thoughts on Jamal Mosley getting the Pelicans job?
I mean, he finds a way to keep a job. I can say that. Now, what does he do with that roster? Kind of in a very similar situation. The only difference is, you're going to have Zion, which we know how that situation has been going recently. But kudos to him. I mean, he's staying in. In my opinion, I think going up 3-1 against the Pistons might have saved him a chance for another job opportunity. But obviously losing cost him his job in Orlando. Even though we've seen before, they said, well, hell, either way, he's probably going to be out. So, but on the West Coast and see what he can, on the West side, on the Western Conference, and see what he can do with it. I mean, there's some pieces over there. It's not going to be, I don't think that roster is as talented as the Orlando Magic. So maybe the expectation isn't as high.
I'm looking, it's like, once I saw like Darvin Ham and Rajon Rondo as kind of like contenders for the job, I was like, somebody else had to be in the mix. No shade to Darvin Ham, but I think people kind of look at him now. I don't say a goofball, but it's kind of like somebody you can't. You can't take serious. Like you kind of look at him like, you can't say that was a book by cover. Once you kind of see behind the curtains and stuff like that, it's like, oh, this is a totally different dude. And then the hands in the pockets thing too. It's like people got think he ain't serious. And then Rajon Rondo. I'm curious to see how he works out as a head coach. How he's going to approach dudes, talk to dudes, all that stuff. That's a curious one by me. Like, it's like, could it work out for you? Or does it just go plane crash quick? But I'm curious to see what he does. I'm curious to see what happens with Zion. It's like, what we're going to do with him here? Like, is he going to still be around, or are they still going to have that blind faith and whatnot? Herb Jones, a guy who's very promising but has been hurt a lot for the past couple of years. Deontay Murray. So you got some pieces there. It's just like these guys can't stay healthy for crap. And we've been saying that for a good while on this damn show. Like, these guys cannot stay healthy for nothing.
Nope.
So I'm glad he got another job. I'm happy for him in that department. Still under 50 years old, so he got another gig and whatnot. So I'm glad he didn't have to go somewhere like Portland to take underpay or all that stuff. So I think it's good that a black coach get another job like this after being let go from another. So we don't see that. In the NBA,
don't happen often.
Well, in the NBA, we do see that. NFL, a lot of those guys don't get a second chance at all.
Nope.
Like, hell, look at like Brian Flores, for example.
Yeah.
That's one right there. And then you kind of saw what the Texans did before, bringing in D'Amico Ryans, how they treat, Lovey and what's that dude's name? They had before.
Oh, yeah. He wasn't there for that long. He was there for maybe a year, maybe two.
Oh, David Culley.
Yes.
But it seemed like they hit a home run with D'Amico Ryans.
Yeah.
So, but in the NBA, we'll see. But I hope it works out for him but he's coming to in the West. Like we discussed, we got on the TVs right here. 35-28 OKC. Spurs right now in the West Finals. So two young teams in the same age bracket. And also, you can say the Pelicans, they in the same age bracket as well. If you look at the roster.
Yeah.
But this got to get those guys healthy.
Keep them healthy.
So we're going to take a brief non-commercial break. On the other side of things, we'll talk about the Knicks winning and being up 3-0 and who they will prefer to see in the NBA Finals. I think very interesting question right there.
Yeah,
This is
tough.
Fast Break here, live for Ice Sports Radio, your Dream Forward Sports. We'll catch you on the other side.
For the last 10 years, IE Sports Radio has been bringing you amazing content ranging from interviewing legendary athletes, coaches, and other authorized media personnel to building tailor-made shows dedicated to all major sports cities around the country. Make sure to follow us at IE Sports Radio on X, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and YouTube to keep up with the latest in sports and with all of our shows. Also, make sure to check out our daily updated website at iesportsradio.com. At iesportsradio.com, you can see our daily show schedule and check out all of our show pages with personal bios to learn a little bit more about each of our awesome hosts. In addition to our show pages, you can catch the iSports Radio blog, Hall of Fame, Fans of the Month page, and our merchandise shop, including t-shirts, tank tops, caps, long sleeves, hoodies, and more. For now over a decade here at IE Sports Radio, we've continued to be by the fans, for the fans, and we thank you all for your support and for making IE Sports Radio your direct feed for all that is sports.
And we're back here for Fast Break here for Ice Sports Radio, your Dream Forward Sports. Right now, Game 4 is going live as we speak. The Spurs are up 38-30 with 5:07 left in the first half. With SGA taking a shot and missing the basket there, and the Spurs quickly on the fast break, and Harrison Barnes had it lay up a goodly contested by Jalen Williams there, and out of bounds on Barnes, and the ball goes back to the Thunder there with 4:56 left in the first half. D-Locke with the first half kind of winding down, and Spurs up by 8 with Jeremy Kane bringing the ball up against De'Aaron Fox. Are things going the way you thought thus far in the game?
I think earlier I was not. Earlier it was actually thought it was gonna be a blowout because they were up maybe by like 13 or something like that. And what's going on is looking like OKC is fighting back, and that's the thing about these two teams. I think they both have the talent to fight back and play defense and get these games pretty close. So we're not going to see too much of blowouts. So I'm still sticking with, like I said, I think OKC right now, SGA still has to wake up. You know, he's kind of like he's going through it and he's getting there, but he hasn't shot the ball as much yet. So I think once he wakes up, that's going to definitely turn a lot of things. 29% for Spurs shooting this quarter. Both of these teams, I think OKC was like 33%, I think it said. So both of these teams are playing great defense right now. So now these possessions are starting to matter a hell of a lot more. So this game, like I said, it's actually pretty tight. You know, I thought the first quarter OKC came out a little bit sluggish, but they're starting to get going. I said that SGA turns the ball over, but they're starting to get going in the right direction. It's just now you're gonna need it's a great block. You're gonna need your other guys to start to wake up. But this series is gonna be pretty solid, you know, throughout each game. But this one right now, this game seems like it's gonna be very, very tight. Who's gonna catch fire first? That's gonna be the tell. And what is that, a foul on Chet? So he may be in some type of foul trouble.
I think maybe a Caruso.
Oh, that was Caruso. Yeah, that's Caruso on that one. So, but yeah, this game, like I said, it's At first, I thought I was going to get away from OKC, how it started, but it's pretty tight. I mean, they're still fighting. All it takes is a quick run, and this game is going to be tied up.
Right now, gotta get Victor driving like that. Not all the time, but just gotta pick your moments with it, and then get like I said, get the foul call on Caruso. Continue doing things like that. Get those guys in foul trouble. And make checks at Homer's ass work. Make him work. Make his ass tired. Make him get tired of all that stuff. So right now, Caruso driving, and then Homer got the foul on Victor, so he's going to the line, and he got the foul call on Victor right there. And let me check. How many fouls Victor got right now?
Probably his first one, I think. I don't think he got a foul earlier.
So yeah, his first foul. So if you're OKC, you gotta get Victor in a situation like that, get more foul calls on him, and make them bring in.
Yes, you got it. Yes,
make him bring in dudes like Luke Cornett, Harrison Barnes, especially Luke Cornett, who really hadn't done jack squat for the Spurs.
Nope.
So far this series, or hell, in the playoffs. I think I saw someone on X Twitter brought that up. How has he been like a negative for the Spurs in this playoff run?
Hasn't done anything.
And also somebody pointing out, like, sitting there worried about Magic City night for the Atlanta Hawks. Should be more worried about your own playing style and what you can do for the Spurs to win a championship. But I digress. But D-Locke, we left on the note. And with the New York Knicks are up 3-0.
Oof.
Against the Cleveland Cavaliers. They're winning every game by double digits and riding a 10-game post-game winning streak, becoming the 10th in NBA history to do so. I think the only other team I could think, well, off the top of my head, the 0-1 Lakers come to mind, in which they just streamlining everybody in that playoff run until they got lost game once against the Philly. I think maybe I had to look later, but the 0-1 Lakers team come to mind first. But they're playing excellent ball, and I think they're catching I don't know if you agree with this or not, but I think they're catching a Cavs team that's probably winded going back-to-back 7 games. And then you come and turn around to play another game off the series, off the bat. It kind of gets to you. A good steal back there by Wallace there. And then, almost got a foul on Victor there. SGA over Castle there. No Bano. And then SGA with the stupid foul right there on him.
That might be his third one. A second.
But the Knicks win game 3, 121, 108. Brunson scored 30 points. Bridges had 22, and the Knicks never trailed. Cleveland struggled from deep, 12 for 41, and from the line, 12 for 19. I looked up this. I kind of did a tweet. Harden and Darius Garland, they combined. Let me pull it up real quick. They combined for 4 for 17 for 3-point line in yesterday's matchup in Cleveland. 4 for 17. The two big men, Allen and Mobley, had 13 rebounds all together. James Harden had 19 points, but 6 turnovers. Dean Wade. We talked about this past couple weeks. A2 game player, but you get in situations like this and you trying to win a championship. Nowhere to be found. Crooks had a decent game. Merrill had 6 points. But that's really about it. On the Knicks side of things, Brunson 30 points, 6 assists, Bridges 22. OG had 21 and 7 rebounds. Carl, 13 points, 8 rebounds, 7 assists, almost a triple-double there. Josh Hart, 12 points for him, 9 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 steals. Karl Anthony Towns, I'd like to add 3 steals as well. Shamet, who had a very strong second half, 14 points for him, 4 for 5 from three-point land. That really put them over the top as well. D-Lock, the Knicks are 3-0. They play tomorrow in Cleveland. Do they finish the job and beat the Cavaliers tomorrow and sweep them?
This is a hard decision because I'm thinking that this Cavs team with so much talent. Does James Harden show up tomorrow? I want to say they will. But also I'm thinking how great it would be for the NBA if the Knicks move on in New York at Madison Square Garden. That's what I'm thinking is, can they close it out? I mean, they can. I think they can. They definitely can. I think they definitely have a great chance to close it out in Cleveland. But also, what numbers, what views, how does it do New York if they close it out in New York? So, I say Cleveland gets 1. I think they have a lot of talent on that team. I don't see them just going out swept like that. I can see it happening. That's somebody has to go off for New York. Oh, I'm sorry, not New York, Cleveland. Somebody has to go off. Who is it going to be? Having a 3-0, I just think that teams have too much talent. So somebody's going to step up and make the moves for them to get it to go to game 5. But definitely Wednesday is over. I think once it gets to New York, that place is going to be rocking like crazy. To know what is at stake, I think that they get put out at 5. Now, along with that, I'll take a bold statement now. Don't wish this on anybody, but I think Kenny Atkinson may be out of a job. Yeah, I think he's on a hot seat.
He's been saying some strange stuff after each loss. This is like, what? It's like, I think I saw a quote earlier today. Like, well, if you think about it, we won 2 out of 3 games. Like, what are we doing here?
Nah, that ain't gonna work. So I think, like I said, I definitely think they gotta grab 1. I mean, in my opinion, they just have to. This team is look at this dude. But yeah, so I definitely think that they definitely get at least 1 game. And shoot, ESPN, the views that they're gonna get, there's no way that they're gonna let Stephen A is gonna be in town. Spike, that place is gonna be rocking Wednesday. So they could possibly try to put it away. They have a chance, but it's not a bad thing if they don't. I think it being in New York, that's gonna be where it's gonna be like, oh yeah, this is what they've been waiting for. So I give it to game 5. I give Cleveland at least 1.
I think if you're Mike Brown and company, I think you got to finish the job.
Yeah.
If you're Mike Brown and company, you got to finish the job. Get your rest. And you're going to be on the road, regardless of the first 2 games in the NBA Finals. But finish the job, get back to Gotham, and then kind of like spend. Well, you'll have ample time before the finals start, but spend as much time you can in the film room to devise a plan between either one of these 2 teams. I don't have the season series in front of me. Let's see. Let me pull it up real quick. The Thunder won a matchup in March, 111-100. That's back on March 29th. Let me pull it up real quick. And then back on March the 4th, 103-100 in that matchup as well. That OKC won by 3 points. And then if you look at, let's see, the Spurs versus the Thunder. Spurs versus the Knicks, excuse me. The Knicks beat them March 1st, 114-89 in that matchup. And then going back on December 31st, in that matchup there, let me pull it up that date. The Knicks lost by 2 to the Spurs, 134-132. Julian Champagnie had 36 points in that win right there on New Year's Eve right there. So Knicks hung with them in both matchups. But I think we're talking about different beats here in the playoffs. Let me pose you this. If you're Mike Brown, you're on Mike Brown's staff in New York. Damn.
Oh my God. That man could do it all, man.
Damn. The Spurs going to the half up by 12. Victor Wembanyama hits a half-court heave with ease over SGA. And go Spurs go. They are rocking live. It's still the AT&T Center. I don't know. Who knows? But they're rocking and rolling. Vassell has 11 points in the first half. A lot of momentum for the Spurs right there. But this kind of ties in what question I got here for you. If the Knicks sweep the Cavs, which I think it's going to happen, who do they prefer to see in the NBA Finals?
After that shot I just seen, that just made this question a hell of a lot harder. Let me see matchup wise. I gotta be honest. I think the team that they probably will prefer to see is the San Antonio Spurs. And the reason why is because we've said it a few times during the show today is Victor is going to be Victor. But you have to have somebody come in and replace him with the bigs. Luke Cornett is the only guy that they is getting minutes. They got Bismack Biyombo on there, who my Orlando Magic, you paid that guy all that money. He didn't give you anything. But yeah, different question conversation for a different day. But you got Luke Cornett right now, 6 minutes, 4 points, and 4 rebounds. Okay, maybe it's a better match with that. But I'm looking at what the Knicks have, right? Carlton Towns, Mitchell Robinson. They got the guy, the bigs that can come in and give the Spurs a little bit of issue. Then they have the depth on the bench as well. I just think that OKC would match them, the energy, right? You got Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein. Then obviously SGA is going to be SGA, but now you also got Jalen Williams, who's found a way into getting a hell of a lot of minutes in this series as well. And now we see Kyron Williams, we haven't seen in a while, start to get some minutes as well. So to me, if I'm the Knicks, my preference is going to be the Spurs, because when it comes to the big man, I think the Knicks have the advantage, right? They're going to probably match guard for guard. I think both teams are depth in that guard position. Hell, I think both OKC and the Spurs have that depth in the guard position. But the difference is, who are you going to have come in for Victor? And they don't have somebody consistent right now. I think Mitchell Robinson, who's actually having a pretty decent series going against Cleveland, I think you're going to get something similar with that if they played against the Spurs. So to me, I would say better matchup for the Spurs rather than OKC for the Knicks. It's a tough matchup in between either, but if I had to choose, go ahead and give me the Spurs.
This is tough. I don't think the Knicks will care. But damn, it's like, on one hand, if you go against OKC, you're going against a team that has a deeper bench compared to yours. I think one little thing, if you play OKC, they won't have we'll see what happens for the rest of this run. But Jalen Williams may not be available for the rest of this playoff run. Maybe, maybe not. It's really hard to gauge. But the bench point still stands because they still go deep in the bench. And which on your side for the Knicks, Shaman's been playing pretty well, but can that sustain for a good run? Deuce McBride, kind of in the same boat, but I still put him on a level above Shaman. Mitchell Robinson, the free throw thing, that can be a killer for you at certain points. So, but hell of an offensive rebound. I'm talking about Mitchell Robinson. I will say that. On the Spurs side of things, your starting five kind of match up with their starting five. If you think about it, Brunson matches up with De'Aaron Fox. OG matches up with Julian Champagnie. Bridges and Hart match up well with Castle and Vassell. And then Towns, granted Victor got a lot of reach over him. Match up pretty decent with Victor. And Victor will have to respect Carl's outside game and whatnot. So, if you're the Knicks, you hope to see the Spurs.
Yeah.
Just for matchup purposes. Because I think Mitch Robinson can give you more than Luke Kornet will give for the Spurs. But if OKC wins this series, and let's go throw this scenario, if Jalen Williams at least decent to go, that's that kind of their X factor right there against the Knicks.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't know who's going to contain him at certain points in the game. Because he could do so much for OKC. Talking about Jalen Williams. Not the big man, but your small forward. You know, he can do so much for you that would turn to an X factor for OKC. But I think another thing to consider, the Knicks' home court when they get to play those games at home.
Mm-hmm.
New York's kind of been starving for this moment since the year 2000, when that Knicks team made the finals in the lockout year against the Spurs. They've been kind of starving for this moment. Look how this since that finals run. Look how many coaches they went through.
Mm-hmm.
GMs. Well, one caveat, you know, the Dolmans, but like you said, another story for another day. You know, front office people, bad, you know, draft picks, bad free agent signings. Now you kind of at subtle things now with Leon Rose in the mix and his expertise on the stuff. Kind of convincing Jalen Williams to take money back, to leave money on the table to kind of build his roster as it is. And now you're on the Cubs one win away to make it to the NBA Finals.
One win away.
So if you're the Knicks, I forgot to get this tweet out about it. But if you're the Knicks, I think you can. I mean, you're gonna play against anybody, but I think you prefer to see the Spurs. I know it's crazy to say
Between them, yeah.
We're beyond, but all that stuff. I kind of like, you know, some of y'all probably listen to us hearing this saying, you know, y'all kind of talking crazy. But if you can formulate a good game plan, if you could get some sets of Karl Anthony Towns down low against Victor early on, trying to get in a foul trouble and make him go deep into the bench, it could be had. I'm not saying Carl gonna get him in foul trouble right away, but you're gonna send a message early on that, hey, Victor, okay, this is what we're gonna do to you. I'm gonna do this to you inside and outside. I may be outside, I may be pump fake driving in, I may call for the ball down low. If you can defend it, you defend it. But trying to stop me. So, your last thoughts on that?
I mean, you have, like I said, I think you have good. When it gets down to the four, you have some great teams. But now, like you said, if you had to choose, it's hard to pick between. Like I said, you just seen Victor literally shoot a half court shot and go out there and drop, you know, and make it. So it's not, now, dude is basically seemed like he's unstoppable. Like I said earlier, I dunked on a 6.5 foot rim and felt like I was damn near right next to it, and I'm pretty sure he feels like every time. So now, like I said, to me, I would choose the Spurs all day because I'm definitely not gonna want to deal with that MVP and the rest of those guys that they have over there. Hard choice, but I would prefer that.
That's gonna be a good finals. Regardless, you know what happens and who makes it, and whatnot. I think the league will benefit from it. New York City will benefit from it because without looking, well, let's see. We look up New York teams real quick, D-Lock. We know about the Jets and Giants. They rebuilt. Well, the Jets being rebuild mode for a hot minute, but same thing for the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
Pull up hockey right now. Damn, the Rangers sucked that bad this year. Yeah, the Rangers were 34-39. Damn. And the Islanders, the New York Islanders, were 43-34. So your hockey teams weren't that great this year. Let's go to the WNBA. We'll talk about here in a hot minute. The New York Liberty are 3-3 right now. So, still early in the season right there. So we'll see how that turns out for them. And then the New York Yankees are 31-22. Second behind your Tampa Bay Rays in the AL East. And then I think the Mets are probably one of the worst teams in baseball, 22-31. Bottom of the AL East. So, if you're a New York fan, you're clinging hope to the New York Knicks right now. Like, the only team that really has been playing worth the shit, excuse my language, for the past few years, if we're going to be real. Maybe besides the Yankees, but they've only been playing with the crap. And if you're a New York fan, you're going to savor this moment because it don't come around much for y'all. Unfortunately. It should have been better. You should have been on par with teams like the Celtics and the Lakers and whatnot. But you let that slip by, and then teams like the Bulls pass you up. And then you turn the clock in the century. The Spurs pass you up. One of your arch rivals, the Heat, kind of passed you up too in terms of status in a sense. Then Golden State came along.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not great for New York, but great right now for New York. We'll see how it shakes out. Before you, I don't know how much time you got, D-Lock.
Probably got me a couple minutes.
Okay. Real quick for you. Your thoughts on Jason Kidd being gone for the Dallas Mavericks? Masai Ujiri, new president, got hired in to kind of turn things around. And I always said about Masai Ujiri, he's great for a rebuild for your squad. And I think this is where we have for the Dallas Mavericks right here. But your thoughts on Jason Kidd being let go from the Dallas Mavericks and the rumors of a potential power struggle?
To be honest with you, I think this is what happens when you bring in somebody new to run the show. That's just usually what happens on most levels. They want to bring in their people, the people that they trust, and who they trust. Not only they trust to get the job done, and who they trust that's not gonna throw them on the desk or try to get them fired. So my biggest thing is, I think Jason Kidd had, he's done well. Obviously, see what my Orlando Magic gonna do is he one of the guys they look into. But in my opinion, I believe that when you bring in somebody else, he wants to bring in somebody that he trusts and he wants to build around. I think that even if he didn't, I think he actually did Jason Kidd a justice, because he probably was going to put it at, hey, listen, I'm here now. This is my expectation. This is what you got to do to stay, X amount of years. So instead of doing that, wasting his time, he probably said, hey, we're just going to go ahead and cut this loose so I can bring in my guys now, kind of get in a rebuild situation. So now, look at it, it's going to be very interesting to see who they bring in, but you are starting over with somebody new because it is going to be a power trouble. He wants to let them know and understand that he is the guy, not Jason Kidd. It's cut and dry. I mean, this is what happens a lot of times in college as well. These new athletic directors come in and they say, hey, well, we want to bring in the guys that we trust, because everybody has a boss, right? So athletic directors or owners or franchises, they want to let it be known that, hey, we're watching over you, but let me bring in the guys that I want to show that they can get the job done. So, I mean, it sucks to hear. Obviously, we know what Jason Kidd, the Dallas Mavericks, have been doing. But I mean, I think a lot of this stuff was en route when Luka got traded. And I think this is something that was brewing to happen. People were going to get let go, and now you bring somebody else in. He's gonna want to bring in his own guys. So not too surprised too much. But the question is, who do they hire?
I think real quick for me, I think when we saw reports about Jason Garrett trying to take over the front office, and since they really didn't bring anybody else in house, and they brought in the outside guy in Masai, I think changes are gonna be made. And like I said with Dallas, okay, Luke is gone. Now you trade away Anthony Davis. Now, what are you going to do with Kyrie, who's coming off of ACL and is going to be like 33, 34 come next season? So there's a lot of questions for the Mavericks. You got Cooper Flag in place. That's fine. Put that to the side. You still got questions about your bigs and Daniel Gafford and Derek Lively, who are very talented big men, but have trouble playing on the court.
Right.
PJ Washington is a very solid piece, but is he long term in Masai's eyes? So there's a lot of questions with this group. And I'm curious to see what Masai does to build with this roster and who's the coach going to be.
Yeah, who's the guy he's going to bring for it?
We know that if y'all don't know about the Mavericks owners, the new ones, Mark Cuban, the Allisons. I'm trying to watch my words because we're on YouTube and that name probably gets tracked, all that stuff, and y'all get my point if y'all know. But they got a lot of money. That family has a lot of money, like deep money. So much deep money per se that they may influence a primary election up in Kentucky. With one Thomas Madison. That's how deep they money go. Now, if Masai can convince them, that family, to kind of, reserve and spend money down the line, I think could be a beautiful marriage. We'll see. But I think the Mavericks are in decent hands right now for the short term. Longer term, we'll see. Like I said, it depends who the coach is and what they do with the rest of this roster.
In rebuild mode, I mean, that's basically what we're seeing as a rebuild. So what do they do with Kyrie? Does he get shipped and where does he go? So it's going to be very interesting, like you said, moving forward. I don't think they're going to be rushed either. I think they're going to kind of take their time, especially going through the NBA Finals. So I wouldn't expect them to hire somebody so soon.
So we'll see how things shake out there. Before you get out of here, D-Lock. The Thunder had to take a quick time out there early in the third quarter. Your thoughts on how the rest of game 4 will go between Thunder and the Spurs?
OKC has to go on a run soon. If they don't go on a run in the next couple minutes, this game can get ugly. This is how it started in the first quarter, right? They have to get moving now. Right now, nobody's really scoring too much for them. Chet is on his way to a double-double. I would say possibly the same thing for SJ on the assist part. But they gotta get moving. I think somebody that's going to have to come in and play a key role with them is Caruso. Right now, he hasn't done too much. I think the past couple of games he's had double digits. He has not 1 point. So we got to see how that's going to go. But if Spurs go up by 20, this is probably going to be done.
Yeah, the way things are going, in the energy right now, I love the Spurs' energy right now. They're playing great ball. The guys are cooking right now. So I just think if the Spurs maintain this pace, maintain this energy, don't don't let OKC get y'all, get some cheap tickets at fouls and get back to the game. Play smart basketball. Watch your defensive stand, move your feet on defense, stay in front of these guys. Make them work for the points. Now, right now, Casey Wall is bringing the ball up against the Aaron Fox. Make them work. SGA trying to shoot over Victor, missed shot, and then that. I guess they call it a foul. Okay, so, but stuff like that have like on the switches right there. If Victor contesting shots like that on every switch right there, you live in gold right there.
Mm-hmm.
You get at least tip block, or if they make the shot, they make the shot. But you get a very contested shot there. Like right now, okay, you got a good SGA got a good pick and roll on Champagne right there. That's what you want to see. Taking Victor way out the 3-point line, and SGA got the good roll to the basket. But right here, like Victor, like Chet Holmgren on Victor right now. And they're clearing out. Look at that. Driving, kicking out. Now, well, I was about to say, here comes the screen, but Chet kind of helps right there.
Yeah.
And that's what Chet Holmgren got to do.
He got to stay physical like that. He got to stay with it. Definitely got to.
So we'll see there, all that good stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get this up right here. So we'll see what's going right there, all that stuff. I know I put WNBA in there. We'll try to get to the ladies hopefully next week. Because, we'll talk about some things I caught my eye early in the season for the WNBA, all that stuff, and my criticism for a couple teams out there and whatnot. But I do want to shout out Kelsey Plum, 38 points last night against the Las Vegas Aces, and an upset win there for the Sparks against the Aces in last night's matchup. But this has been our show tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for tuning in with us. If you're new to IE Sports Radio, do follow us on X and YouTube, and go to the website IESportsRadio.com. D-Locke, how can people find you on social media?
You guys can find me at Black-813. Again, we hearing about Jason Kidd moving on from Dallas. Let's see who the Orlando Magic possibly get in the running for that.
Could Jason Kidd be in play for Orlando?
It's going to be interesting to see, man. I mean, right now, you got your solid team. I think you got to go get you somebody with some experience, with some playoff or NBA Finals experience. So let's see who they go after. Let them know they can find you on the show's page.
You can find the show's page at Freshbreak at IESR. That's Freshbreak at IESR. You follow me on Twitter /X at Spawn4288. That's Spawn4288. Like I said, follow IE Sports Radio on X and the YouTube channel. You see the IE Sports Radio over there. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that subscribe button. Once we go live every Sunday at 7, you'll get the bell off. You get that notice from us. We're on and popping as we do every Sunday. Right now, the Spurs are up double digits in the third quarter. Victor Wembanyama looking to all first NBA team as he is, as he shoots 3-point. But right there. But
wow.
But it's gonna be a great game. Do follow us, like I said, on our Twitter page, on our X page at Fastback IDSR. We'll be tweeting along with this game. Next week, we'll talk about some WNBA action, potentially the Knicks sweeping the Cavs, and we'll see how the rest of this series conclude come next Sunday. But this has been our show tonight. Y'all be safe out there. Take care. We'll talk to y'all next week.